We are camping in Wabush, Labrador tonight. It is a mining town right outside of Labrador City, which is also a mining town. This is the Wabush Community Park, Recreation Park, right on the pretty lake. There is one very clean porta-john. There's trash cans, picnic tables, and walking trails. So, what's not to like? It's a beautiful evening. I think it's going to get down into the 40s by the early morning, so it should be good sleeping tonight. Our first night in Labrador, more free camping. Of course, best I can tell, there's only maybe 6 campgrounds in all of Labrador, so the chances of staying in a campground aren't that great. There's one European van camper. Haven't seen them, but they do have a European tag, maybe German, but haven't got to see them to talk to them. Hopefully it'll be a quiet night.
We are leaving Lab City and headed up the Highway 500, the Trans Labrador Highway this morning. And so Chuck is getting us some water to take. What are you doing over there?
Getting some drinking water, filling up.
Yeah.
Gotta get it where you can. We'll carry just maybe about 5 to 6 gallons with us. Not that much, but enough for a few days.
Very good. Very good. We are thinking where we're headed is pretty remote, so might as well be prepared. We came by this little Gateway Labrador, which is the welcome center for Labrador coming up 389 out of Quebec. And super nice. The people inside, the young lady that was working was just sweet as can be. And it has a little 5 or 6 site campground. There's a few more sites behind the building. While it is on this busy road, as we discovered when we were camping on it, it pretty much, there's the traffic after it gets dark is almost non-existent. And but they wanted 63 Canadian, which is like 45 American, for services that we don't need, you know, water hookup, sewer, electric. We don't really need any electric right now. And it didn't have, you know, a standalone bathroom and shower for us. So while it's super nice, we decided to pass on it. They did say if we wanted to camp there and not use any of the services, the next morning we could just give a donation. But, you know, what's a donation? You know, how much should you give? So we just went up the road a little bit to the next little town of Wabush, and did a little boondocking, a little wild camping, as they call it in Canada, for free on Lake Jean. And Chuck will be so happy because he likes to spend $20 or less a night for camping, and we had some really high dollar camps in the States, but we are down, the average now is $20.51. So he ought to be tickled with that. And it's freezing here. We had coats. Chuck's got a hat on. The sun is coming out, and it's supposed to be low, maybe 62 today or something. But there is a chilly wind up here.
A little breezy.
A little breezy.
Those rail cars have processed ore, or what I assume is processed ore. It looks like coal almost in them compared to the big chunk rock ore that we saw back at the Fires Creek mine.
We didn't really shoot any video in Labrador City and Wabush, not consciously, but it's a relatively new town. It was built in the 60s to service the mines that Labrador, the iron ore mine that Labrador, like Quebec to the south of it, was going to cash in. I read that it's the iron ore vein, maybe, whatever they call it, has got enough in it that they could work it for at least 100 years.
Yeah, I was talking to one of the locals last night. Well, I'll say he was a local. He lives here and works in the mines. He's actually from Nova Scotia. But he told me that they've been working this mine for 60 years and it has enough ore to go for another 100 years.
Oh,
so,
wow.
Yeah, so there's, you know, just immense amounts of iron ore up here. It was interesting talking to him.
And here we are at another highway work zone, but much like Western Canada, the Yukon and the Northwest Territories, and Alaska even, you have a short window up here to get your road work done. And we went over lots of railroad tracks. There's you know, the railroad moves this iron ore out of here. And at the last railroad track crossing, it said, look, listen, feel. So
I might have been exaggerating on that.
Oh, okay, never mind. But I was like, really, Canada? Am I supposed to get out of my vehicle and lay my hand on the track? So, okay, all right, a little exaggeration.
It said look and listen, but I added feel.
And I fell for it,
Yeah, and
apparently.
she fell for it. But I told her you were supposed to look, you were supposed to listen, then you were supposed to get out and lay your hand on the track to make sure no trains were coming. That they wanted to be extra safe up here.
It's a never-ending road show with Chuck in the van.
There, Lab City does have a Walmart.
Yeah.
And a Canadian Tire. Of course, up here, anywhere where you see a Walmart, there's going to be a Canadian Tire next to it.
Yeah.
And a McDonald's. We did hit McDonald's this morning for a biscuit. Oh, look at this. We've got a little resort.
Oh, look, there's a...
and a little float plane right here.
Yeah, last night we really enjoyed the float planes taking off and landing where we were camped on Lake Jean. One of them flew right over the camper, landed right over the camper. I thought it was somebody driving too fast and was like, dang, they're coming in here hot. But it was actually a float plane, so that was cool.
Unfortunately, we couldn't really get it on video.
No.
I tried to grab one with my phone, but it was so far away you couldn't really see it.
Yeah. All right, and here we go. We are at Churchill Falls, although I don't think there's anything here. We're right next to the airport, and I think that was the Churchill River back there where I said I wasn't sure what it was. Churchill Falls has one of the world's largest underground hydroelectric stations that the Churchill River falls 300 meters and 32 kilometers, which I guess makes it ideal for the underground hydroelectric station, which is pretty cool. We didn't see anything. Maybe we're not there yet. I think we're past it,
We're
though.
5 miles away.
Yeah. Oh, we haven't got there yet?
No.
Oh.
Look.
Look.
Caribou.
Caribou.
We haven't seen any.
No. We have seen in the true in the true Gnome Town camper fashion, we have seen nothing except a beaver.
Yeah.
So we've been a little disappointed because it looks like it ought to be very moosey through here.
We've been looking. I quit looking. We were looking so hard, I just got tired. I said, we got to quit looking.
But you know, it's like perfect moose territory. The ponds and the streams with the, you know, real grassy kind of growing in them. So I don't know where they're at.
And no bear. We haven't seen any bear.
No.
This is supposed to have the most black bear in North America.
Yeah.
Up here, and haven't seen a one.
No, not a thing.
Not a thing.
Fingers crossed, maybe further up the road, although, you know, we've been 500, 600 miles of completely remote, very little traffic, no towns, and haven't seen a thing.
Nope. Well, we're sitting in camp outside of Goose Bay, Happy Valley, Labrador. I remember hearing all about Goose Bay from my dad when I was a kid because there was an Air Force base there. My dad was never stationed there, but it was always a threat that if you screwed up, you got sent to Goose Bay because it was in the middle of nowhere. But we're on this giant sand lot, boondocking tonight. There's two other people out here. One trailer way over there. And one camper van way over there. We're at the site of a huge hydroelectric plant where the dam is here outside of Goose Bay, Happy Valley. I cannot get over to sit on top of the lake because there's a big dip in there and I'm afraid I'd get stuck. I did walk over. It's a beautiful view. I may give you a view of it yet. But I talked to the van people. They got over okay. But thank God for iOverlander, the app, because it's how I found this wonderful boondocking site. I'm sure I would have never found it without it. So hats off to iOverlander for boondocking. Pretty awesome. My wife just told me that this place is called Muskrat Falls, and she thinks that might be the name of the hydroelectric plant.
We left our beautiful campsite in that lot next to the Muskrat Falls hydroelectric plant this morning. We had a really nice night of sleep, and although the guy next to us had the largest generator I've ever seen for camping, and look here, we need to be moose alert.
My question is, where are the moose?
Where are the moose? Because
we haven't seen any.
Nary a one, nary a one. We just ran into Happy Valley Goose Bay. We actually went into Happy Valley.
There is a Tim Hortons in Happy Valley. There's a hospital.
Yeah.
And there's a big YMCA.
Yeah, a huge
so
YMCA.
I guess we probably could have got showers there.
Oh, I didn't think of that.
Yeah.
Well, maybe later today we'll find a spot.
Yeah, we're going to roll on down the road. I doubt we'll find a shower spot.
Oh, wow.
Because I think we have another full day of wilderness driving ahead of us. But we will see what we can do.
It's been really interesting. The landscape up here, it definitely has changed a little bit. We're still a long way from the coast, but we've discovered that Labrador is either rocky from pebbles to huge boulders, you know, like much of New England, and or sand, like sand dunes. We were camped in sand last night that actually had, like, you know, when the wind blows sand and it kind of makes waves. So it's very interesting. I can't imagine, or we talked about we can't imagine you could grow much in the way of vegetables and fruit up here. Oh, Chuck has been rocking finding boondocking spots. They have been fantastic, and our average money spent on camping now is down to 18 something a night. So we are definitely headed in the right direction. Although I'm not sure how it'll be when we get to a couple of places in Newfoundland that I for sure want to be sure to visit. So we'll see. But these overlander sites that we've been to have just been fantastic. Can't complain. That was the second vehicle on this road. There hasn't been anybody in our lane headed south. We're headed south now to like Port Hope Simpson, and I think there have just been 2 cars coming the other way. It is lonely country up here in Labrador, interior Labrador,
And very few places to even get off the road.
Yeah.
I mean, most of the time people just stop on the road.
Yeah.
And you can't pull off on the shoulder.
No.
There's very little shoulder. You can about maybe get your outboard wheels off, but that's it.
Yeah.
Because then it's soft and it drops away. So if you want to pull over and look at a pond or whatever, there's no place to do that.
No. Oh, that's pretty.
That I picked up from old folklore that
To the end of our travel day, we hope.
Maybe.
Maybe. We're pulling into Port Hope Simpson in Labrador, which is still a bit away from the coast, but it's awfully pretty. And these great bridges. So here is an interesting conundrum. Labrador is in Atlantic time. So we're an hour ahead of the folks back home who are in the Eastern time zone. But we think our phone just picked up Newfoundland time, which is 30 minutes ahead of Labrador time. So an hour and a half ahead of home. So yeah, no, we won't be confused at all. Actually, I told you a fib. Port Hope Simpson that we were in is actually got some like coves, waterways, rivers, whatever, out to the Labrador Ocean, I think it's called, the North Atlantic. So we are much closer to the coast than I actually thought we were. And the landscape again has kind of changed. And it's warmer over here. we've kind of been freezing the last few nights. 2 nights ago, it was 41.
Yeah.
2 mornings ago, it was 41 in the camper. And it was July 25th.
And this morning it was 51.
Yeah. So, and it felt much warmer just getting up and paying for gas. Oh, that's pretty.
This is our camp tonight on the St. Louis River, right outside of Port Hope Simpson, Labrador. And this is where we're set up, right here. The bugs are out in force.
Thank you all for watching. Be sure to stay tuned. Next week is going to be part 2 of Labrador when we get to the coast. We'll be happy to answer any questions you might have about this trip through Labrador. But Chuck's going to put the drone up so we get a good look.